Hey everybody, and welcome to the Game Nexus. It's Dwayne here, and today we're going to be doing a review of Halo Infinite multiplayer.
5 minutes remaining.
Now let's just get one thing out of the way really quick. I am not a pro Halo player. In actual fact, I didn't even play Halo 1 Combat Evolved when it first released on the original Xbox. My Halo journey actually started, believe it or not, with Halo 3, with my Xbox 360. At that time I knew that game was coming out, and I knew I needed to get caught up on the lore. So I quickly jumped in and got copies of the original Halo games that were luckily on the backward compatible list for my 360. So I did a deep dive and sort of did a binge playthrough of Halo 1 and Halo 2 in preparation for the story for Halo 3. This review is on the multiplayer of Halo Infinite, so I'm not going to dive too much into the story side of it, but specifically the multiplayer. Multiplayer with Halo has had a very sort of tumultuous life, leading all the way from the original Xbox up to now the Xbox Series S and X. And wherever you look, there's going to be hate and love for this franchise. The multiplayer component of it is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, and you can't mess with a formula that was just sweet when it first originally came out. To that extent, you're going to see lots of people on the internet complaining about different changes they've made over time about how Halo plays and the formula. In my mind, Halo is Halo, and at the core of it, it's always been Halo. It's okay for the developers to iterate and change and experiment. You can't stay stuck in the past. And I think Halo Infinite has done just that, and not only that, they found this sweet spot where they're honoring the legacy of Halo multiplayer while adding some of the new conventions that we see in modern day shooters. So let's get the obvious out of the way really quickly here. If you're running an Xbox Series X hardware like I am, this game is amazing looking. In 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, it's just beautiful. It's silky smooth, and everything, including the environments, the character models, it just all is amazing. It just pops right off the screen. Some of the real key things that I've noticed over other Halo games is that they've really started putting an effort to make the environments, the arenas that you're playing in, come alive. You're seeing debris, you're seeing animated objects move around the environment. Rain, for example. You're seeing litter on the streets in some of the maps float with the wind, stuff like that. Character models, in a Halo game you're pretty much limited to seeing your hands and your feet maybe if you're looking down, but the gun models as well. But all just really well done. Talking about the environments, so far on the maps that I've played, there's a very good variety of actually arenas to fight in. One of the things that I've really paid a lot of attention to over the years with Halo is the maps that they put into it. Not just the layout of the maps. I'm not that into the pro aspect of the game, but just the actual visual of the maps. And I think Halo 3 had some really amazing maps. They incorporated different landscapes, interior, exterior, snow, desert, that kind of stuff. Halo Reach was really a step back for me, and it kind of threw me off the multiplayer when the majority of the maps in Halo Reach were Forge made. So they tended to be just buildings and structures as opposed to organic environments. Halo 5 and Halo 4, well, Halo 4 as well, and Halo 5 brought back those sort of normal environments that you might see if you were living in the world of Halo. You're seeing outposts and forests, things like that. So in Halo Infinite, so far in my experience, I've seen some structure-based maps, a lot of towns, a lot of sort of urban environments as well as hangar bays, that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that they reveal a lot more. I know in the big team battle maps you're going to see a lot of the forest environments and such like that. But one of my favorite maps in Halo 3 was a slow climb up a rocky hill into an outpost. I can't remember the exact name of the map, but just really a visually appealing map, and it made sense in the lore of the game. So if you're not running Series X hardware, don't worry, the game still looks amazing. You're just going to be coming in at 60 frames per second. Of course, your resolution will vary. But there's no way that anybody could look at this game and accuse it of not being a current gen title. We'll talk a little bit about sound design, and it's kind of a mixed bag with sound design because, a lot of the times when you're looking at reviews, you're looking at soundtracks for sound design. But just talking about multiplayer here, The sounds of the weapons are amazing. They pound. They've got a real tactile feel when you're shooting them. One thing that I actually appreciate, and a lot of shooters don't really consider this, is the impact that your bullets have, or your rounds have, your weapons have when they hit an opponent. And in Halo Infinite, you know that you're hitting your opponent. You've got a really solid feedback system that they've built into it. And that final hit when you knock an opponent out or when you take an opponent down, just that popping noise that it makes when your opponent hits the ground really, hits hard and lets you know that you've done a good job. For me, the audio of the guns, I'm running it through my Xbox wireless headset. So, crank the volume up loud if you've got the ability to do, and you'll really feel it. Some of the other things that I find as well with the sound design of the game is that they're incorporating environmental. So you are hearing raindrop. It's not being drowned out by the rest of the sounds of the game. But more specifically, as a casual multiplayer, I find that some of the audio cues that the game has incorporated versus older versions of the game, really helpful. Especially in objective game modes, they're signaling with audio as opposed to just visual cues. Of course, the visuals there as well. But even the announcer, the shout-outs from your players as well, the AI shout-outs that they incorporate from Halo 5 is back. Even something like your AI assistant or your AI that's built into your Spartan armor that you pick at the beginning of the game, and you can switch to different AIs throughout the game, is really helpful. It gives you a sense of living in this sort of training world where these Spartans are fighting each other to perfect their skills. So everything down from boot steps, your Spartans have a real sense of weight in this title. Just like Halo 5, that was the big thing with Halo 5. I noticed versus other Halos is you really felt like when you were running that you had weight behind you. You had this big, massive, heavy armor that you were wearing. So that's returned specifically as well. And not in the cumbersome side, but just in that feel when you're running. You can hear the footsteps, the chinks in the armor as you're getting hit, that sort of stuff. So audio and sound design is just top-notch across the board. So lastly, let's talk about gameplay, because that's what everybody cares about, right? Is Halo multiplayer back? And is it going to make all the fans of Halo, whether you be a fan of Halo 1, Halo 2, 3, all the way up to 5, is it going to make everybody happy? Because at the end of the day, all each release of Halo seems to do is just divide the core fan base. It seems like 343, who has now done 3 Halos, has yet to find that magic formula. Halo 4 I thought was great. Halo 5 I thought was amazing. It missed the mark in making everybody happy. And so you have a community that's divided. My feeling is that Halo Infinite brings them all back together. It's taken some of the best elements of the previous Halo games and mixed it with modern conventions. You're basically looking at the complete package with Halo Infinite. And the best thing of all is it is a free component to the Halo package. 343 and Microsoft has decided that they want to make Halo as accessible to everybody as possible on the planet, and what better way to do that than make it free? Not just free with Game Pass, but free. Crossplay is enabled, so PC and Xbox players can play together, as well as on the cloud. So Halo is now available to everybody. It's a free product, and just like most free shooters, you're going to see monetization in the form of battle passes, skins, no game-breaking purchases, but you're going to see a lot of cosmetics, and I'm thinking they're going to be adding in AIs as well, so that you can get those different Jarvis type AIs talking to you during your matches. But overall, this is a good direction for Halo. It's needed. In this generation of gaming, free-to-play is not a bad thing. If it's handled poorly, it can be, but so far from what I've seen as far as the monetization of this game goes, I don't think that 343 is going to let anybody down as far as how they monetize Halo Infinite. So overall, I'm loving Halo Infinite. As you can tell, I'm very excited. It's a very addicting game when you pick it up. It's really hard to put it down. The gunplay is so smooth, and you just kind of keep wanting to play it. Load or queue times are fast for multiplayer right now. Even with all the people playing it on the surprise launch, you're not getting bogged down in queues. So it's the complete package. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see where they go with each season as it comes out. And I'll tell you right now, this game is probably going to take over as far as my first-person shooting going this year. Sorry, Battlefield. But Halo's got you on this one currently, so we'll see how that plays out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You can check out my score below, and if you have any comments or you're interested in anything about the game and you haven't quite played it yet, Please feel free to comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. It's a small channel, but we're growing slowly. We like all the feedback we can get. Click off notifications so that in those times that we do have videos posted, you get alerted to it. And most of all, get out there and have some fun playing. Take care.